what the hell is going on. These rookies say they reppin' the A, but they doing it wrong. Let us show you how to do it, cause your swaggin' done got stale. Where I come from in the A, you can't be bragging about your mail. Right now, OSV, that means old school vets. There's a lot of us giving you jobs and writing your checks. We can whip around in new schools, but old school's best. Right now, I know you feel the pressure of the beat in your chest. That's RBM, Meal Stick, and FMS. Right here, you bearing witness to two of the best. I know you're sick and tired of hearing that Maypop mess. Nah, I ain't hating dirty, I'm just stressed. Right now, it's time for OSV to full up rush. All that running around with the pants on the ground, we putting it to rest. Right here, we some grown men, little boys, we ain't playing. Right now, I'm about to take my belt off and start ass slinging. No. Ha. Right now, this is what's up. You always be in meal stick. DJ, turn it up. Right now, get your hands high. Bring them side to side. Right now, this is what you need. This is hip hop.
And now, the wondrous world of...
Hey, come to Los Angeles. You and your family can have peace and tranquility. Enjoy a fine
Hello, my name is Elaine, and I'll be your tour guide through South Central Los Angeles.
How to survive in South Central? A place where busting the gap is fundamental. No.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Boyz in the Hood soundtrack. With a little bit of Ice Cube mixed in there. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. The Boyz in the Hood soundtrack to the 1991 film came out July 9th, 1991. It contained mostly hip-hop music. The album was very successful, making it to the number 12 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the top R&B albums chart. Was certified gold by the RIAA on September 12th of that year as well. The soundtrack spawned 2 singles, Tevin Campbell's Just Ask Me To, which made it to number 88 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 9 on the Hot R&B hip-hop singles and tracks, and Tony's Just Me and You, which I think we got that cut that we're going to drop on you a little bit later, but you remember that, Just Me and You, ooh, baby. Yeah, there we go. I mean, your boy. Shut up! Just me and you, just the two. Remember that? The song that appears only in the movie and not on the album are Jam on It by Nucleus, which is old school, Sun Shower by Dr. Buzzard's original Savannah Band, More Bounce to the Ounce by Zapp, Sucker MCs by Run DMC. Did they play Sucker MCs in that movie? I can't remember right now. Let's Go by Kumo D, and Old Child by the 5 Stair Steps. So today we're paying homage to the Boyz in the Hood soundtrack from 1991. Looking at these stats, and I'm going to jump in the chat room in a second here. Looking at these stats, a couple things jump out at me. First, from the Golden State side, Golden State got 0 production from centers in this game. You heard what I said? Zaza Pachulia, the starter, and really saying Zaza as the starter is really most of the time is just, it's like ceremonial that they have a center on the floor. Zaza only played 10 minutes for Golden State last night, had 0 points. JaVale McGee didn't even get in the game. So this is more the evolution of basketball, man, as this team dominates this playoffs, dominates these finals, really for the most part without a center. You remember when the Bulls were winning championships and they had Luke Longley and who else did they have? Big Caldwell. Like, they really didn't, have a lot of input into the success of the Bulls, but they were on the floor even a lot more than these guys, man. Golden State pretty much runs with a bunch of forwards, guards, and that's how they do it. So that was kind of interesting. They get Andre Iguodala has a big game. He gets 20 points off the bench. You also get Sean Livingston with 5 points as well. But then when you look over at the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James, 41. Kyrie, 26. You had a huge night from J.R. Smith, who went 9 for 11 from the field, 7 from 8 for three-point land, got 25 points. So you had 3 big-time scores last night, but it still wasn't enough. But you got absolutely nothing from your bench. Kevin Love struggled last night, 30 minutes, only got you 6 points. which was a bad night for him. But I will say throughout these finals, Kevin Love really balled. I mean, he had a great series outside of last night, but last night was not good. And then when you look at the bench, you know, they made this deal for Kyle Korver from Atlanta. Kyle Korver, 18 minutes, 3 points. Amon Shumpert, 0 points. Darren Williams, 0 points. Richard Jefferson, 4 points. They got no support from the damn bench. Like LeBron and Kyrie had so much weight on their shoulders for offense, man. So this team is kind of flawed. They figured out a way to do it last year. I don't know how they did it last year, but they did it last year. You know, once again, that was an aberration for a team to come back from 3 games to 1. It's never been done before in the NBA. And this year, it was just too much. Like, I don't care what happened last year. It was just too much. From DC Cavalier in the chat on Spreaker.com, he says LeBron going to lead the Cavaliers again after next season. He did right by Cleveland to come back, but he'll finish his career elsewhere. Unless they do something else to even the score. I saw these casts this morning while on the Mike and Mike show on ESPN, and they were talking to Stephen A. And Stephen A. threw out there a possible trade for Kyrie Irving for Chris Paul. You know, like a sign and trade by the Clippers, the trade for Kyrie Irving for Chris Paul. I guess I kind of get it, because you want the consummate floor general. You want a guy that can do what pretty much LeBron does. LeBron is the guy running the team and setting up the offense and doing everything. He's the floor general out there. So in a more truer sense, if you were to get Chris Paul, you would have that. But then you'd have to give up Kyrie Irving. I don't want to give up Kyrie Irving. So I don't know. I don't know what Cleveland's going to have to do to try to get back to, you know, a position where they think they can really vie for an NBA championship. Paul George, I think, would be a good fit. But there's this talk about Paul George trying to get to L.A. to play for the Lakers. They're going to have to do something. We're going to see. From Raiders for life. Wrong, Doug. LeBron only said he knew it was over when he looked at the clock with about a minute left and down by 13. No, I'm not saying that LeBron didn't say that. What I'm saying is he had the appearance, and it sounded like to me, and everything that he said with his commentary after the game, that in his heart of hearts, he knew they couldn't win this series. That's what it sounded like to me. That's my interpretation. I didn't say that LeBron, you know, said that he knew it was over, or he said that they know they couldn't win that series, What I'm saying is it felt like to me, based on what he was saying and his expression on his face and how, what he said, that he knew in the heart of his heart that they couldn't win that game last night. From RC, it's new to folks who haven't paid attention to basketball in the 80s. I don't care if folks were traded or drafted. There were plenty of super teams in the 80s. There were super teams in the 80s. But there's a stark difference. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. The difference between now and then was teams were built by organizations. All right? Free agents didn't leave, and they didn't, for the most part, they didn't have the opportunity to do it then. So that plays into it as well. I'll grant you that. But teams were built through trades and through the draft. Okay? Yes, you may not care, but that is something that a lot of us care about in this conversation. You may not care, and I'm sure a lot of people don't care. Oh, it's the same thing. They had super teams back then. They got super teams now. Yeah, it is, but it feels totally different. For Miss Mocha Bella X Squad, good morning, Mocha. Come on, Doug. Here we go again. Katie and LBJ are champs, and they made the right decision for them. That's true. They made the right decision for them. There's no arguing that. From Sin, the passing of the torch talk is crazy. Durant has been in the league 10 years. It's almost time for him to pass the torch. Maybe he passes the torch, in a couple of years. He doesn't have the torch as long as LeBron James has had it. That may be true. Maybe in 2-3 years, he's, one of these top players, him and Westbrook and Kawhi Leonard, and maybe they pass the torch, and maybe KD passed the torch to the Greek Freak or something like that, or to Anthony Davis. Maybe he doesn't have the torch as long as LeBron James seemingly has had the torch. But right now, last night seemed like that he's that dude in the NBA right now. He played like that in these NBA finals as well. Yeah. He played like he was the best player in basketball, the most talented player in basketball, which is not that far of a stretch, to be honest with you. I mean, the guy won a league MVP already. He's already been to a finals with a far inferior team, and talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I don't want to make it seem like that Kevin Durant just started this year. No, that dude has been a ball ever since he was at the University of Texas. But that being said, it kind of has the optics as Kevin Durant's about to go on a great run for the next couple of years at least. From LD, from the D, Doug just going to throw that out there, but don't respond. He just wanted to throw the shade out there, GTFOH. I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. From Corey, Doug, that trading versus free agent argument is stupid. That shows that you would rather someone else have power over what you do. I don't even understand what that means. When the statement Corey makes, he says, Doug, that drafting versus free agent argument is stupid. That shows that you would rather someone else have power over what you do. First of all, I don't play in the NBA. We are talking about NBA players. When I talk about the NBA and this whole phenomenon and what's happened over the last couple of years, LeBron James going to Miami and Kevin Durant going to Golden State, I'm talking about it as a fan. Now, all the in particulars and all the social commentary you're having about these players being in charge of their careers and whatnot, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about teams in the league being competitive. All of that other stuff is for the league to worry about and for the teams to worry about and the owners and the GMs to worry about. What I'm saying to y'all, from the perspective of a fan, it absolutely sucks that a free agent would leave his team and go to another super team already, quote unquote, or a very, very good team and make this super team as a free agent. That's all. Has nothing to do with what you think. If somebody has power over somebody or whatever, that's a whole different conversation. If you're talking about free agency, I love free agency. And if LeBron James would have went to, I don't know, any other team where he would have went and been the big fish, on that particular team, or Kevin Durant wouldn't have gone to Golden State and went to another team where he would have been the guy, a la when Shaquille O'Neal went to the Los Angeles Lakers before. This is what a lot of y'all forget and y'all mix up. When Shaq went to the Lakers as a free agent, he was the big fish. They subsequently drafted or traded for Kobe Bryant. Okay, so Shaquille O'Neal is not even in this conversation of these other guys that we're talking about right now. It's totally different. But when you go to another team with quote-unquote superstars, it is lame as hell. And I'm not trying to focus on that today. I'm not trying to focus on that. Y'all keep bringing it up in the chat because I made mention of it. And I got to make mention of it because that's how I feel. All right? But it's totally different. There's a different air. And all of this stuff about being in control of your career, you're not playing in the NBA. What do you mean your career? You're not playing in the NBA. I don't play in the NBA. We're talking about players. We're talking about parity. And we're talking about a competitive league where the last 3 years you've seen two teams dominate from their respective conferences. You've seen the Cleveland Cavaliers dominate the Eastern Conference, and you've seen the Golden State Warriors dominate in their conference, in the Western Conference. And this year, Golden State wins another ring with Kevin Durant. And the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James in particular goes down to Miami a couple of years ago, and they dominate. It's just different. I mean, you might be fine with it. You might like it, but a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't like it. Vegas is already saying that Golden State going into next season is going to be the biggest favorite in NBA history to win another ring. You think that's by happenstance? You think that's by luck? No. It's because they got Kevin Durant. Now, if they didn't have Kevin Durant, there's a good chance that probably a 50